best in sports debate and up-to-the-minute information and statistics. Sports Wrap, every Thursday, 6 to 8 p.m. 2 exciting hours of pure exciting sports talk. The experts are in the house. Sports Wrap, every Thursday evening, only on the big station, only on Q95. Lock it in.
I wake up in the morning.
From the Milky Way, a timeless treasure has found its way on every breakfast staple in Dominica. A delightful promise is being kept. And now everybody is drinking Promex. Promex full cream instant milk. Morning by morning, give your family a refreshing start to a productive day. Promex milk. It's pleasingly, teasingly, surprisingly delicious. Blends well with your choice teas, cereals, coffee, or all your family-friendly recipes. Promex. Good nutrition all day long. Promex milk. Every mother's favorite milk. Taste the moments that take your breath away. Promex. Available from AC Shillingford and retailers island-wide. AC Shillingford, where you spend less and get more.
Good night to all listeners of Sports Wrap. Thank you once again for listening to the program. Tonight we are joined by Emmanuel Loblack on Zoom, and Mr. Lockhart Sebastian will be joining us in a short while. Tonight we intend to look at some areas of netball, football, and cricket. We will start with netball, then we'll have Mr. George bringing us up to date in cricket, in football, and then in cricket we've got an election going on right now for the president of the Dominica Cricket Association. So we'll be getting an update on that, and we'll also be looking at the free test matches going on. We'll be spending some time looking at Ale Kafanaz in a special way. Tonight, as we start off, good night, Mr. Loblack.
Good night, brother. How are you doing?
Okay. We've just been joined by Lockhart Sebastian. Good night, Lockhart.
Good night, Ronald, Slamy, Chan. And you know, Ronald just came, as you know, from this funeral, a huge funeral, I'll tell you. In fact, I saw Mr. Linton there, Danny, and you know, young lady just past 60, big. Probably whole village was in Sudbury, and I know this lady so long. This girl, I call this a young girl. She was married to Wawa, a stalwart of the Workers' Party. It was really big. I mean, you know, sometimes you go to funerals like that, and sometimes it'll take country eye because there'll be especially songs that are sung like "I Surrender All" and "How Great Thou Art," and you feel because I mean, I know she suffered for a couple of years, and you know, see her kids giving the eulogy, and it was tough. I mean. You wasn't a big funeral, I'll tell you. The church was packed, and you know, I'm hearing the pastor Ronald, and he was saying, "Well, let me be a former preacher," and then he says that when Basil comes, and if you are not saved, and when Basil called, they said the Lord calls your name, and he said, "Ronald," and you know, you wouldn't hear your name if you are not saved. You know, you're going down, and I mean, it's like not a joke. You're saying in patois, but seriously, I mean, it was. Tough thing when this afternoon watch this funeral. Big funeral, like I tell you, in Salisbury. And you know in villages how it is that people, everybody related. But then there was just a nice lady. I mean, I don't know if Lambi knows her. Sometimes, Wawa's wife. Yeah, well, we call her a lady, but she's not an old lady. She's about 61. Yeah, Wawa's wife. I mean, well, I said to Ronald, I had to be there. I could not. I had to be there in that funeral. That's a person I know long time and Wawa himself, and with the brothers, all the brothers. I mean, E.T., all of them. I mean, in fact, I am the godfather of one of her sister children, with Grace in Shillingford. That is Nadine. So I had to be in that funeral, and I'm happy I went. And she got a good send-off, honestly.
I know the family so well. As a matter of fact, I know the mother. and he used to have a bad dog in the yard there.
Yeah, you mean the father?
Yeah.
Yeah. You mean Wawa?
Wawa.
Wawa's a very bad dog in the yard.
very bad
That dog is like a terrorist.
Yeah.
If that dog grabs you,
As
you
a matter of
finish.
fact, you don't take a chance on going Wawa's place. He's well on there.
You can't go. In fact, even when I go there, I would call him, tell him come to the gate.
Yeah,
I wouldn't go inside there like that. I would tell him come to the gate. But as I say, I'm happy I went. It was a nice funeral. They're probably still in the cemetery because the crowd was so thick. Because they have to drive down just close to Makoshui. That's where the Christian cemetery is, and I guess people probably still there because it was a huge funeral. I'm telling you,
I expected that.
huge funeral. I'm happy I went.
See, that's very good that you
Yeah.
could pay your last respects to a friend.
Yeah,
It's always
because
important that you pay your last respects.
in fact, I remember I got up here watching you in Desmond Martin's funeral too.
Mhm.
In fact, that he sent it to me watching you. I actually saw you inside there. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it's good to go to friend because that's the last time you probably going to see the person. Well, not see you. The person is dead. But I mean, to know at least for the sometimes
Family
you don't-
members.
for the family members, you
Yeah,
do it. At least the
respect,
people
yeah.
that are still alive, you have to show them appreciation because I mean, I know the last daughter, Cassie. She was there for her mother all the time, and it was tough. I mean, the mother was probably sick for a little while. She was in hospital, and it was tough, man. So, like I said, I'm happy she got a good send off, and I was happy I was there.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
During the course of this week,
Mm-hmm.
there were two important sports programs. One Monday night, the posthumous award for Irvin Chillingford.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was well put together.
Mm-hmm.
The recurring theme was he was a talented batsman,
Mm-hmm.
he was a consummate cricketer,
Mm-hmm.
and most of all, he was a gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
And it was highlighted in the end, he was also a family man.
Mhm.
I really appreciate the job that was done by Kudos to Our Heroes Committee. It's very remarkable, and it's something that we need to recognize and highlight. One person made an observation which I think that should be looked at in the future. Irvin came from Dublin. It would have been very good if somebody could have gone to Dublin and get some comments from persons on the ground in Dublin on Irvin.
I suppose so.
Yeah,
I suppose.
but other than that, the comments, the local, regional, and international comments were very remarkable, and they were consistent, recognizing the contribution, the talent, and the gentlemanship of Irvin Chillingford.
Although I wish it was done while he was alive. As I say, you know how I feel about those things. That,
But
I
but
wish it was done.
Sibo, life is funny because you were talking about and Mr. Gregor, both of you were talking about doing it,
Mhm.
and he just kept on. Something's got in the way because I know you wanted to have it done before he passed.
Yeah, because I mean, the man came here, things being said about him, you're dead, you're finished.
But he has been sick for a while, so
Yeah, well, that's why I say I wish it was a long time. And too often,
yes.
people get in Dominican happen that people are not giving their flowers while they're around. They wait, and then something happens and the thing. So at
So,
least,
what you're saying, you do your recognition.
huh?
You do your recognition.
Yeah,
But he used to be at the home all the time, so he did his best.
The second program that happened on last night,
That was a great
Roots
program.
Connection program by Dr. Simon
I
Matthew.
didn't hear that. Okay.
That was a
there
great
was a
When I was watching
focus-
cricket early from
okay.
6 o'clock.
There was a
yeah.
focus on sports. A
Mhm.
very, very good program.
So who are the guests on that?
A variety of guests, and they recognize the importance of the contribution of Maggie Peters of 767 Sports Club.
Mhm.
There were a variety of guests on there.
Mr. Green was on.
Green was there.
And the young lady,
There's a young lady who plays for West Indies. A young lady plays for West Indies. The karate fella, Robin. Yeah, the karate fella. But
Robin is back in Dominica?
no, Robin
No, no.
Canada.
He
was in
lives up
Canada.
there now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But the program was well managed by Dr. Simon Matthew. She does. a
She lives
very
in Dominica,
remarkable
Dr. Mafia. She lives
No,
overseas.
man,
she
she
lives
lives in the States.
She lives in the
She's
States.
overseas, okay.
She lives in the States. That was another very, very good program.
It was a great program.
Yeah. So those two programs done this week on sports, and we are coming on tonight.
Well,
with
look, we
another
have
great
Lobby
program on
there.
sports.
We mustn't forget Lobby.
No, I
If you
introduced
want
him
to weigh,
already.
yeah.
So Lobby, do you want to weigh in on those two matters?
Well,
Oh
yes.
Yeah.
So,
and the-
yes, Sebastian, first of all, you spoke about the funeral, and you spoke about two songs. I surrender. We all have to surrender.
Yeah,
We do
yeah.
not know the appointed time.
Well, through one basket knocks the door, you have to go.
Yes, what I'm happy about that Irvin went to his maker with a name. That was the most important thing. You go with a name, nothing else. And we know that, how his contribution to Dominica cricket and the Caribbean was believable. Now, there's something Landa want to talk about athletics, about a young lady in the US who's making headway, a St. Lucian lady. I don't know if I can talk about it right now.
Yes, you can touch on it, Lobby. Go ahead.
Yes. Very important that we hear about this name, Julian Alfred. Have you heard about this female sprinter?
Yes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
From St. Lucia.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have heard about how the Jamaican female sprinters, what they did. But this is a young lady, I can tell you. She's 21 years, and she's going to take the world by storm. She has, first of all, Julian placed second, don't forget, last year in the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow in the 100 meters. And she also won the outdoor NCAA 100 meters last year. Now, this year...
Lobby, what times are she doing right now? What are time?
No. What they have now is the indoor, all right, the smaller track, but the 60 meters that she became the fastest collegian and first ever collegian to run sub 7 seconds. She broke the 60-meter college record. She ran 6.97 seconds. All right, and what I like about Alfred is her stat. She has a hell of a. She reminds me of Fraser of Jamaica. She's well built, and I can tell you that if you could recall last year in the World Championship in Oregon, she on the stat she was disqualified. This unfortunately but she is a person, an athlete to look out for, who's going to make St. Lucia and the Caribbean proud.
Well, yeah, guys, thanks, Lobby. The Cricket Association mentioned all sorts of machinations are going on. Up to now, the elections can't start. People try. In fact, I understood politicians were getting involved, asking people who they must vote for, and that's the kind of nonsense that's going on. Up to now, the meeting started at 5, still can't start the voting because all sorts of machinations are going on out there in the Windsor Park Stadium. Yeah, I'm just getting the update. Man, this is something else. Yeah, I mean, what I've found that all associations now, politics seem to be involved in that, and I don't understand. Look, a meeting starts at 5. They cannot. And all that was supposed to be an agenda is voting, and up to now they cannot start.
Sibo, it's becoming increasingly challenging in Dominica, and we have to find a way for the best of us to take care of the rest of us.
I agree with you, Ronald.
You have Mr. Marsley, who's been involved for a while. He's been involved in cricket administration for a while. He's involved in playing cricket, and he's putting up his hand for the presidency. For some strange reason, politicians and other people get involved and trying to frustrate his election.
Up to now, it is almost an hour and a half, and the meeting is going on, and up to now, the voting cannot pass because people...
And this is the second time.
Yes, and that's all that's supposed to be. Everything was done already. And the thing is that only about 3 positions, because Liam has already been elected unopposed, couple of people are unopposed. So it's the President Marsley, and you have politicians actively... It is alleged then. Sometimes it's something you should still say it's alleged to protect yourself on the radio station, calling people and asking them not to vote for Marsley. I mean, it's just sad that up to now, the voting can't start. Up to now, it can't start. I mean, all kind of problems. Also people try to debar some people from voting to plead so that they can get their way. All sorts of nonsense going on there. I only hope the guys don't back down and let things go properly, because it's not, as you say, we're not in trouble around here. We're not in trouble. A little election of cricket and politicians involved and asking and all that. Now you cannot start after what? 5 o'clock, hour and 15 minutes. That's all that's on the agenda, The voting to vote for the executive about 9 people, to vote for about 3 people. That's all. Because some people have been elected unopposed. And you cannot, that is just something.
Sebastian, what are front runners?
Well, it's 2 people that is. Marsley is being challenged by Kevin James.
What's that?
Marsley was the first vice president for the last 2 years. He's been challenged by Kevin James.
Kevin, who's that? Kevin James?
Yes.
Are you serious?
I am very serious. And then
this is a joke now, man.
Well, it's more than a joke. You're right. It's more than a joke. And it is just nonsense. Why? Another one that said, we're just in trouble around here. A simple cricket association election politics have to be involved in that. People are playing the pool. Honestly, it cannot start. The voting cannot start.
But Sebastian and Landa, last week, Sebastian, I heard you. You said that Duchamp said that Afanas is from the OECS.
No, I didn't say Duchamp. I said Bishop.
Bishop said Duchamp. Afanas from the OECS.
He didn't say OECS. He said a player from the Eastern Caribbean. That's what he said.
Well, the Eastern. Sebastian, I took that thing. When you said that, I was upset. I was very much upset. I find that, even in Dominica, there should be serious remarks on the radio stations. What Irvin went through, what you went through, it shows that in the past, you all were not seen as players from Dominica or even from St. Louis. They saw you all as players from the Eastern Caribbean.
No. What I'm saying, Ian Bishop must know where Alec Afanas is from. He must know, and he knows. I know he knows. So, and there's no island they call Eastern Caribbean. Eastern Caribbean is an area, part of the Caribbean they call Eastern Caribbean. So the same way you could say whatever from Trinidad or what, you can say from Dominica. What's the problem with that? And I love trying this so-called big island saying it's just a big mess, honestly.
No, it shows you that what is still existing. Yeah. All right? Because Dominica, he's from Dominica. We are a republic. All right, we are republic, and the EC dollar is bigger than Trinidad dollar. It's one of the biggest, stable currency in the world.
But we are bigger than Barbados, our country.
Obviously, Sebastian, I think it's things very serious, Sebastian. Because look, I think it's things very, very serious. We have to say, whenever this thing happening, we have to be. I heard Landis speaking about Afanas there. We have to keep on. What happened to Irvin? What happened to Irvin and you? Guy, we must not see that thing happen anymore. The way Irvin was treated.
West Indies cricket is just a mess. West Indies went to Australia. They got bowled for 70-something. They pick the same people to go to Zimbabwe. They don't pick the same people and they're still failing and the same people playing. Same people.
It is ridiculous. And you, Sebastian, you are better than any of the batsmen I am seeing there.
Boy.
Right.
What I find is lack of technique, I find. Even Craig Bradford, I find sometimes the way Craig Bradford gets out, he does not consistent. Craig makes 100 and then for a long time he doesn't make runs again.
He struggles a lot.
Yeah.
But we'll be spending some time on that area a little later on when we're looking at cricket. One of the areas that I'd want to, before we bring in our first guest, I would like to speak about an area of major concern and it impacts on sport. What I call the motorcycle or the scooter syndrome. We see a lot of young men, young athletic men riding motorcycles, riding scooters. And it's impacting negatively on our young men. And these are potential sportsmen. You see they lime, they smoke, they drink, they ride, poor discipline. And I understand it's alleged that they are being subsidized, the unemployed, and they are being subsidized.
No, maybe you should put it correctly. Sometimes not subsidized. Subsidized when you get in a help, Sometimes they get it free. So we have to put it right. In fact, close to election, a lot of the guys get bikes free of charge. So it's not subsidized, you're being bought for them. Subsidized is when you get in as help. To get all free. All.
So we need to deal with that problem because that problem is going to continue to escalate. You are driving, guys want to overtake you, blow you
and
on both sides.
Aggressive,
aggressive
man.
On the road. Yeah. We need, and the guys look very athletic, potential sportsmen. So we need to address that. The
Gentlemen.
1 minute, Lobby. The Dominica Youth Business Trust needs to address that particular problem. We should develop some kind of apprenticeship program for those guys, especially with all the construction projects that we are going on in Dominica. We need to get role models. You need to get some success stories to see how you can get those guys involved in employment and involved in sports programs. The Cricket Association, again, that's why it's important that you have proper administration in the various associations. So the associations can build strategies and to look to see how we can assist those young men.
Well, yeah, go ahead, Lobby.
Yes, both Lander and Sebastian. What happened to the Windsor Park?
Well, they put in lights there, they say. They put in lights
No,
there.
that's so. From the time, what do you think? Is there any team in Roseau, gentlemen?
Well, as you mentioned that, what is Charles Ronald? He called me one day. He said it would be good for us to have a discussion about what has happened to sports in Roseau, where all these clubs, and since the advent of the new Windsor Park Sports Stadium, a lot of sports in Roseau has suffered. Yeah, he called me about that, about all the sports in Roseau. All the clubs, you hardly have men around Roseau playing sports. Yeah, he mentioned that to me. What is?
Sebastian, when you had Windsor Park, which London knows, most of these young men would have been inside there. They would have been in the Windsor Park 24/7. There was football, there was cricket, there was basketball, there was athletics, there was netball, there was volleyball. You also had the grammar school ground. All right? So you had activities taking part in Roseau, but Roseau right now is paralyzed. It has been paralyzed. There's nothing happening, Lander.
Yeah, that's a valid point, Lobby. We see the relationship between the stadium and the decline of sports in Roseau. And this
I had a very potent track club, the Olympians. Right? What happened? I had close to about 40 athletes in those days. Then I had to move to the gardens.
That club is no longer.
But Sebastian, can you train people in the gardens?
Well,
we're going to have our athletic stadium very soon, Lobby. Mr. White informs us that is well on its way now.
Well, I saw the area when I went to the cricket on Saturday in Portsmouth. I saw the cleared something. I don't know if that's what he was referring to. Right by the road, I saw the clear area. Not totally, they're mid tracks. So I don't know if that's what Mr. White was talking about. Maybe he can call and tell us. But I saw
something. It's a 400-meter track?
Well, that's what White said last week, that they're on the way. They've started. But I saw some bulldozing going on down in the Point Run area. So I don't even know if that's what he was referring to. I don't know.
Well, that is long overdue. But besides that, as I said, Roseau has been paralyzed.
No technical wing, no Windsor Park. It's very, very critical. Very critical.
But even the Bathurst ground, what's happening up there now? Why there's not much activity there?
Nothing is happening there.
Not much activity up there either.
Very, very, very.
But look, gentlemen, look at that, Sebastian. See what has happened in the forecourt. When we had the Windsor Park before this stadium, you had total access to the forecourt. You could get there from 5 o'clock in the morning till nighttime. And you play your basketball, the girls play their netball, their volleyball. We have the forecourt right now. You have got total access to go and practice basketball there.
Well, anyway, what we'll do now, we're going to take our first break, and then we'll have our guests joining us after the break. Lobby, so that's hold on there.
Putting on.
Okay.
I wake up in the morning.
From the Milky Way, a timeless treasure has found its way on every breakfast staple in Dominica. A delightful promise is being kept. And now everybody is drinking Promex. Promex full cream instant milk. Morning by morning, give your family a refreshing start to a productive day. Promex milk. It's pleasingly, teasingly, surprisingly delicious. Blends well with your choice teas, cereals, coffee, or all your family-friendly recipes. Promex. Good nutrition all day long. Promex milk. Every mother's favorite milk. Taste the moments that take your breath away. Promex. Available from AC Shillingford and retailers island-wide. AC Shillingford, where you spend less and get more.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe, and Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins, and bidets. PVC piping, fittings, and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
I wake up in the
From the
morning.
Milky Way, a timeless treasure has found its way on every breakfast staple in Dominica. A delightful promise is being kept. And now everybody is drinking Promex. Promex full cream instant milk. Morning by morning, give your family a refreshing start to a productive day. Promex milk. It's pleasingly, teasingly, surprisingly delicious. Blends well with your choice teas, cereals, coffee, or all your family-friendly recipes. Promex. Good nutrition all day long. Promex milk. Every mother's favorite milk. Taste the moments that take your breath away. Promex. Available from AC Shillingford and retailers island-wide. AC Shillingford, where you spend less and get more.
Yes, we're back, and we have with us the president of the Netball Association, very young lady. And I in fact, when I spoke to her on the phone, I didn't realize I'm so young. But it's nice to see we have young people who can be in the leadership position. So I'll let her introduce herself so that my fellow host, co-host, lobby, everybody, and can know her name and everything. Introduce yourself to that.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Colita Hamilton. I'm the president of the Dominican Netball Association.
Yes, well, like I say, I find you someone so young. How have you been enjoying it so far since you became president?
Well, it's been a good ride so far. I'm not, it's not my first time on the executive. I started as the secretary to immediate past Regina. So, and we work very closely together. So I am aware of what needs to be done and what we need to do to get there.
Okay, you say you're aware of what needs to be done. Well, I understand there's a big tournament coming up in Dominica soon. Tell the public, everybody's listening to you.
Yes,
tell the public about it.
We're having the 20th, I believe, 20th, Jean-Pierre Caribbean.
Jean-Pierre.
Yes,
Jean-Pierre. Right?
Jean-Pierre Caribbean Youth Netball Tournament. It's an under-16 tournament. And we have various islands participating. We have, Barbados are the defending champions. And we have, the host Dominica. We have Trinidad coming over, Trinidad and Tobago, Cayman Islands, St. Lucia, and Grenada. We have them coming to challenge Barbados for the championship. And it will be held from the 25th to the 29th. At the Windsor Park Sports Stadium. The games begin from 5:30 to 8 o'clock. We have 3 games.
25th to 29th of this month or next month?
This month.
Okay.
Yes.
So how are you going to finance such a tournament? Because it's going to cost a lot of money, right?
Well, this tournament has the backing of the government of Dominica because the Jean-Pierre Initiative is actually a sports division thing. So we will raise our own funds. We have gate receipts, $5 entry, and we are soliciting, support from the private sector, but most of it will be backed by the government.
Yes. What programs? How long have you been involved as the president of the Netball Association?
Well, I just got elected December last year.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you all have an existing program, a development program for netball?
Well, my new executive and I, we've actually done a proposal for a grassroots program, and we have an academy which will be starting here in Roseau for the young ones. The grassroots program will be targeted at the rural areas where netball is not so popular, not so known. We'll be starting with the young children from about age 7, 8. You're showing them the basics, the footwork, the passing, stuff like that, and move on to the shooting and the defending. But we're going to start with that.
Yeah, I hope that grassroots program is going to be a part of a bigger strategic development plan for netball. So you all need to the new executive come together, If you need additional resources, tap additional resources. And it's planning is very, very important. A 5-year plan. How you look down the road? What are your goals? What are your objectives 5 years down the road? And how are you going to do it? So it is very, very important that you all focus on that. It's good that you're going to have a start off with the under 16 competition, but use that as a medium, use that as a basis for developing a development plan for netball in Dominica.
Yeah, but as Ronald mentioned, sometime last year there was a tournament, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the tournament was held. Oh, I forgot we have Mr. Low Black with us as well. The tournament was held last year, and then there was a West Indies tournament, and Dominica did not take part. Now we are hearing a tournament again. So what is happening in terms of local netball? We haven't this tournament yet, but in terms of playing netball locally, what's really happening?
Well, after this tournament, our national league will be commencing.
So you have asked him to register already?
We have, as of this week, we are finalizing the under 16 tournament, so we can meet with the teams to find out where they are. They are already, they are apprised, they know the league is coming, so we will meet with them before. We will apprise where they are, and we have to finalize that planning. We have sponsors that we have to reach out to, follow up with, but we are planning on having the National League May to June as early as possible, because the same tournament you spoke about, that was the second edition, OECS ECCB. It's a world ranking tournament, and it will be held in Antigua this year, September, month end. So we need to get our national team in order so we can represent properly at that tournament.
Yes.
Go ahead, Lobby.
Yes. Question to the president.
Miss Hamilton.
Good night, Miss Hamilton. Good evening. I have a few questions. First of all, have you all put a budget together for this tournament?
Yes, we have.
Speak a little louder.
Yes.
A little louder.
Yes, we have. We have a budget.
A budget.
Yes.
No, I find you all the netball is very, very lucky. Very lucky to compare to other associations to get money readily. Very, very, very lucky. How many teams you have? How many teams you have in all?
For our national league?
No, for this
6.
6 teams you have. You have Barbados, Cayman, Trinidad, Dominica.
No. Lobby, you asking us, is it local of the?
No, for this tournament coming in Dominica next month.
Yes, 6 of them.
Only 6 teams.
Yes.
Including Dominica.
Yes.
Okay, that's for what, over a period of 3 to 4 days.
Yeah, about 5 playing days.
Okay, you see, one of the things you said that this team is coming to challenge Barbados. So it's showing that at least Dominica wouldn't be able to be that competitive.
Yes, we'll challenge them too. Yes.
No, but first of all, you said that you put off your island.
No, Barbados is defending champ.
Yeah, Barbados.
I know, but I know Barbados is defending champ. So what progress have you all made from last year to now? Do you all see your because last year in terms of our position, what I heard is that it was our performance was very dismal. So do you see an improvement? Do you see the public can come now and support the netball in Dominica with a better performance in 2023?
Well, actually, last year's team is different from this year's team. Last year's team was a senior team. This year's under 16.
I know,
we have to support our young girls.
Yes, we have to support. All right, but people have to come in terms of the progress, because a lot of these young players they play in the same national league also.
Well, these are new girls. These are new children. Girls. 16 years and below. That's high school.
Maybe you could say who is the coach?
Well, Jennifer
Nanton?
Yes, from sports.
Okay.
It's sports division. So the schools, the schools choose the
schools,
team.
Yes. All right.
The last tournament was a senior team. That is, Netball Association. We pick our team, but this team we're not picking the team.
So who is picking the team?
The sports division is picking the team. This Jean-Pierre, that initiative is Caribbean Netball Association's initiative. But in order of protocol, you have to pass through the Dominican Netball Association to get it done there. So that is where we come in.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, if it is it's under the auspice of the Netball Association, why it is that you have allowed another entity to pick the team and do everything else?
Well, that's how it's always been, you know.
That's how it always is?
Yes, Sibo.
No, but this doesn't make
nothing wrong with that.
yeah.
It's under 16. That's not,
School children.
yeah, it's our jurisdiction.
No, but besides that, what I can understand is this: the Netball Association itself, in terms of a selection committee, the Netball Association should have a say. If it's a free or form and pick the team, you should have a say. Yeah. Not just you're just as the Netball Association. At the end of the day, you have the sports division is the one in charge, because the sports division is in charge. Miss Hamilton.
Yes, I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah. But you see, because it's on
Breaking news. Clement Masley is new president of the Dominica Cricket Association.
Praise God.
Despite the haters. First thing, breaking news. So we will have, as soon as the young lady finishes, we will get him live on the line. It's the breaking news. Because, I have to highlight that. Because too many people in a cricket association meeting, there were forces trying their best and politics, it was straight politics. Because Clement Masley, deputy leader of the United Workers' Party, people are trying to sabotage. I am saying I am happy about it. That's what let's get back to the young lady, Ronald.
Yes, I will say this on the 16, and I see the sports division having to play a critical part. This is why I asked Ms. Hamilton earlier on in terms of the strategic development plan and how you coordinated the sports division, the training on the 16, your senior team, how you're going to be organizing yourself, how you're going to get funding for your different programs, your grassroots programs, and so on. So it's very of utmost importance that your executive, in collaboration with the sports division, develop a strategic development plan for netball.
Yes. And we're doing just that. It's very important to always keep the sports division in the loop in this kind of things, because you have the young children. We don't really have the jurisdiction over the young children. We don't really go into the secondary schools, so that's where they come in. So it's always very imperative that we keep them.
Who are the other members on your executive right now?
Want their names?
Yeah, if you can just briefly just tell us the treasurer, the secretary.
Okay. The secretary is Samantha Ito. The vice president is Kanya James. The assistant secretary is Makira George. We have our treasurer, Gillian Serafin. We have 3 committee members. We have Jennifer Nanton, Karana Thomas, and Cleveland Vidal. We have a male. Yes.
You got a male presence.
Yes.
You got a male member.
Yes, we have a male
in Netball
presence.
Association.
He's actually the coach for the college team.
That's
Yes, that's very good.
I'm Lando. The question I want to ask: what is our ranking right now, Miss Hamilton, in the Caribbean and in the Commonwealth? Did you hear me?
Yes, I heard you.
What's our ranking, Dominica ranking?
At present, we are not ranked.
So it's like we are starting from zero then.
We're starting from scratch. Only way to go is up.
So you are hoping that, because I have a problem not only does netball, I have a problem in terms of tournaments. I always believe yes to have tournaments, but we have to be prepared. All right, you can project. There must be continuity. People are training. You have competitions. People are there, because for the public to come, they have to see that our team may not win, but the team going to be very competitive.
If you have a level of confidence, yeah.
That is true.
Huh?
Yeah, that's correct.
Mm-hmm.
That's correct. But Lobby, I must say, Miss Hamilton, a very young lady, and she's
I know her.
Executive. You know her, okay? And she spoke about the executive, and we from Sports Rap wish her very well, and hope that you all can get your act together and continue developing on the 16 and the other programs. This is very good. This very young lady.
And she lives
well.
close. You live close to Regina, right?
Yeah.
She lives close to Regina.
Yeah.
So I think Regina will be like a mentor for her.
Yeah,
In
she
fact,
has
when
been.
when I called her and I heard her voice, I said, well, I didn't see her, but she sounded like a teenager to me. And I'm watching her today. But I'm happy to see a young lady like that in a leadership position. You need more of that. At least all she needs now is people to assist to carry the sport forward. And I want to congratulate you. I wish you well. I am sure all of us wish you well.
And
All of us.
yes.
let me add on behalf of Sports Wrap, we are open to assist your organization whenever you need to get on the air to at least let the world know what's happening. Please feel free to call SIBO or the others, and we'll facilitate that.
Yes, I appreciate that.
Because as you get closer to the competition, we would want to assist you in promoting. Even speaking about the Dominican players, who's the captain, who are the players. So Dominicans will know who are the players, and family members can come out to give the critical support to the team.
Yes, that is
Okay.
One question: how often are you training?
Well, you mean the senior team or the?
Well, the team preparing for this,
Well, the
for
team
this
prepared,
tournament.
they train every week now.
Every day of the week.
It has intensified because we're choosing our by our last meeting we're going to choose the final 12. So from there they will be training more often, but they've been training since last year.
Last year. So I mean, you'll have been training for
Yeah.
about 4 to 5 months now.
Yes, yeah. Well, lessons
the
learned.
team-
We have to.
You see, it's a school,
Yes,
school
and you have to deal with
operation. You have the school-
exams.
and you have the school competition going on.
I know you have the school competition.
Even right
I
now,
know
some schools
Glenda.
couldn't attend because they have exams April.
Some
and
people asking
kind
you
of
to just
things.
speak up a little louder, Yeah.
But that is very good, and thank you very much for coming. And we look forward as the competition gets closer later this month. We want to entertain you again because Sports Wrap, what we try to do is to promote all different sporting disciplines in Dominica. And we're happy that you can come on board with the netball. We look at cricket, we look at football, we look at basketball, and we're very happy and elated that we could have you here with us tonight. And we're looking forward to future discussions with you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, thank you all for
All right.
having me.
Okay.
Well,
the best.
I'll call you again, Sudat. I'll call you
Keep
again.
that up, Sibo, you know. You there.
No, well, we have a co-host, I'm looking at another one. We have two of them.
Yes, but fun fact, I used to run it for Olympians. So.
Oh, well, Lobby.
Yes.
That's why Lobby
So
said
Lobby,
I know her very well.
When I was younger,
Lobby, that's
so that's
your-
in grammar school.
Lobby, you should
I
know
know-
that, please, Lobby.
I know her very well. I know her very well.
Nobody said that. Nobody said that.
Yes.
All the best. You have
Yes.
a tough, but all the best.
Yes. Thank you all for having me.
All right.
So, Mr. Hamilton, I wish
Yeah.
you all the best in the tournament.
Yes.
We will
Yes.
call you again after the tournament or during the
Before.
tournament.
Yeah,
During the tournament.
or even before.
Oh, exactly.
Before the tournament.
Exactly.
Just so, yeah, and then during the tournament you give us update, and at the end of the tournament you give the assessment.
Of course,
Yeah,
we can do that.
yeah.
Okay. Yes.
So,
Thank you
all the
all.
best.
Yes.
Yeah. Take care.
Thank you.
All right.
Yes, so.
You can hold your water.
Yes.
Well, Ronald, we're going to have Clement on the line just now. So we'll have him on the line when the post of treasurer has been contested now. But it is sad,
Very sad.
that Dominica, you have to have that. It's just in a cricket association, all sorts of machinations are going on in a cricket association election. All sorts. It is just wrong. Honestly. You put in politics in the damn thing. I'm sorry about the language, but man.
Yeah, man.
I know Sebastian.
Uh-huh.
You know, it is just sad. Very, very sad.
Yeah, politics.
Because first of all,
parliamentarians calling people.
you look at Sebastian, you look at where we were in cricket and where we are now.
Yeah,
We should be looking forward, not in terms of moving the sport forward, trying to get back the dominance we had, at the Windward Island level, at youth, at senior. We'll be looking forward, moving our sports forward.
Mm-hmm. By the way, the latest score, Lobby, I don't know if you're watching Sri Lanka 346 for 80 against New Zealand. I watched this guy last night. I don't know if you watch cricket. Kushal Mendes, man.
Yes.
Man, that guy played some shots last night.
He batted very
What? Man, that guy beat some ball.
well. But Lobby, what has to be done very soon? The Olympic Committee and the sports division has to come together with the different associations in Dominica and to develop a national sports development plan. We need to do that. We need the DOC sports division. We need to get that going and coordinated.
Yeah, we're trying to get Gerald George on the line to tell us about what happened last weekend in football, and we'll soon have him on the line. And after that, we will speak to Clement Marston. We also have to speak to Sam Cannon about the matches in Portsmouth that have been going on. Dominica lost badly today, I would say. Dominica only made just over 100, and the Bajans made it for 5 wickets. But Lobby Lander, before we get Gerald George, I know, Ronald, you follow the NBA. What do you make of this latest episode with the superstar for the Memphis Grizzlies, Ja Morant? Have you been following that?
Yeah.
But it's sad that a young guy like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in a nightclub, sashimis for people who understand patois, without shirt. Anyway, we'll come back to that. We have Mr. George on the line, so we'll speak to him and then we'll get back to that. Good night, Mr. Gerald George.
Good night. Good night.
Yeah, we have Ronald is there.
Good night, comrade.
Yeah. Well, it's your. The floor is yours. Tell us about what happened last weekend. The floor is yours. Yeah.
Okay, good night to everybody. Last week we had week 2 of the Premier Division League. I can give the results. 5-game schedule, 5 games played compared to week number 1, where we had a few games that had to be called off. On Friday last week, we had Promex Harlem United taking on Blue Waters Buffett State at the Dubla playing field. Blue Waters Buffett State came from behind to defeat Harlem 2-1. We had Montel James and Eustace Phillips scoring for Buffett State and Odell Laville scoring for Harlem. And Montel James getting man of the match. So that was a second defeat for Harlem in as many matches. Saturday, there were 2 matches on Saturday. Central Cooperative Credit Union Dubla taking on Petro Caribe Point Michelle. Dubla playing their first game for the season. They came from behind to defeat Point Michelle 4-1. We had Felix Ansem getting a hat-trick and Myrick Shillingford getting 1 for Dubla. Dante Warrington scoring the lone goal for Point Michelle. And Point Michelle losing 2 from 2 so far. And we at the Benjamin Park, we had Valvoline United taking on LA Stars. That game ended in a 1-1 draw. Fabio Drago scoring for We United, giving him his 4th goal for the season. And then we had Rich Blaze scoring for LA Stars, and Rich Blaze was named man of the match. And on Sunday, 2 other games, the defending champion, Surgical Surface, they had their first action for the season. They defeated Bombers from Portsmouth by 4-0. Javi George getting a brace. Adriel Lawrence and Randall Prince getting 1 each. And Javi George being a judge, the man of the match. In the other game, Connect 767 East Central took on Middleham United at the Dubla playing field. That game ended 1-0. Clemson Isaac scored for Middleham, and East Central's goal coming through an own goal. Clemson Isaac was named the man of the match. So that was the action for last weekend in the DFA Premier League. We also had quarterfinal action last week in the Central Cooperative Credit Union Under 15 Boys League. We had Southeast taking on East Central at La Plaine. East Central winning that game 4-0. And we had Goodwill Runners taking on ACS Starish United. Goodwill Runners won that game 7-1. And on Sunday in the other quarterfinal match, we had Harlem, the Newtown Juvenile Football Academy, Harlem United taking on BAA Sharks from Benz Alsoda and so on. Harlem winning that game 6-1. And at the Benjamin Park, we had Petro Caribe Point Michelle taking on A&L Construction Limited. Bombers edging out Point Michelle 2-1. So the semi-finals is set for this weekend. We have 2 semi-final matches in the under 15 boys competition. The first semi-final will be played on Saturday. East Central will take on Newton Juvenile Football Academy Harlem, and A&L Construction Limited Bombers will take on Goodwill Runners. We have these 2 matches scheduled for Benjamin Park, but based on some information that we got, we may have to move that game to Jubla. We're still waiting to finalize that, but it is so far scheduled for the Benjamin Park. But I understood there will be some T20 cricket between Barbados and Dominica taking place Saturday, so we may have to move across to Jubla. Okay, and the schedule for the Premier League this week, we're going into week 3 of the Premier League. Tomorrow, Friday, we have Central Cooperative Credit Union Jubla taking on Valvoline United at the Jubla playing field. That game is scheduled for 6:30 p.m. Saturday, we have 2 matches. The defending champions, Sanchico Southfish, will come up against Midland United at Jubla. And we have Connect 767 East Central taking on Blue Waters Baffert State at Benjamin Park. Another 2 matches on Sunday. Promex Harlem United will take on Petro Caribe Point Michel at the Jubla playing field. And then we have at the Benjamin Park, Bombers taking on LA Stars. The Saturday and Sunday games, all of them will begin at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So that's the schedule for this weekend, and that's the results for last weekend.
Okay. It's good that we're making some good progress in our football, and there have been no incidents. Now, in the under-15 competition, I recognize there was a lot of goal scoring. What is the quality of football? What is your opinion on the quality of football at the under-15 level?
Well, as we get in closer to the finals, you see the teams that have impressed throughout the competition. You see they beginning to showcase, and you see some real good talent, some real good talent in the other 15. So we're very much impressed with what we've seen so far, and we definitely looking forward to the semi-finals this weekend, and then the finals at a later date to come.
I was returning from doing a lecture at the college this week, and I noticed a lot of work is being done on the Stock Farm field. What is the schedule for that work?
Well, work is ongoing. Remember, we spoke about the laying down of the artificial turf. All the
tarish
excavation has been completed, and now the drainage is being done. I think we are still on schedule. We're enjoying some good weather, good sunshine. Whenever it rains, it impedes a bit. So lately we've been having some beautiful sunshine, and the contractors are very happy with the weather, and the work is progressing satisfactorily.
What's the completion date?
Initially, there was a 3 months timeline, but we may go beyond that by maybe an extra 2 or 3 weeks, because there were some delays when we were having rain earlier in the year. So, but I can say that the work is progressing satisfactorily.
That's very good that we're paying attention to developing of facilities in Dominica. Tell me about the Baffert State ground. Is it playable now?
It's playable. It's not to the normal size it was before Maria, because Maria encroached on the boundary or the playing field. But we do utilize it for our youth training. Our youth teams have been training there. We since Maria, we have not played any. There was one of the grounds we used to utilize for our Division 1. But like I said, the river encroached on some of the boundary area of the playing field. So a lot of backfilling has to be done. When we did an estimate for that, and it's well over to backfill it and stuff like that. It's well reaching in the region of over $2 million and above. You could understand how deep there is, because the river is right down below. So to do backfilling there is going to cost a lot of money. We've done the estimates for it already and try to get funding for it, but it's an expensive venture.
Well, yeah, no stuff. So anyway, Gerald, we'll surely have you on next week. Thanks for all the information. By next week, I'm sure you will do Dominica will probably be leaving for St. Lucia, so you'll tell us about that, because I think they have the final match in St. Lucia, right?
Yeah, by next week,
Okay.
the coach should have his final traveling squad ready, so that should be announced by next week.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Comrade.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay, as the election goes on, Ronald, Jesse Badwill has been elected treasurer. So we're going to have Mr. Maslin now, see if we can need Jesse Maslin. But really sad, a thing that should have taken 20 minutes, a meeting, is going on for 2 hours now. Those two elect probably 3 people. Because 4 people were elected unopposed. Just sad that is the kind of thing where politicians are getting involved in little association elections. It is really, really not the best thing.
You see, Marcel loves his cricket.
Exactly.
He's involved in administration. He plays cricket, and he's a professional.
Mhm.
He's a highly qualified
Qualified,
professional.
Mhm.
So when you have those type of persons coming forward to assist in developing sport, especially cricket is on a downward spiral in Dominica. And we need to get good management of our cricket.
Agreed.
So it's good that we have a person of caliber.
Okay, we have with us, good night,
interview one time. Yeah.
have all your men close first, please. Good night, sir.
Let's go interview too, yeah? So prepare.
Guys,
On a call.
well, we're trying to get him back in here in the background. Good night. Mr. Maslin,
Hello, Timo.
you are on live now. We are Ronald Landa in the studio with me, Lambi. Let me say congratulations to you on being elected as the president of the Dominica Cricket Association. I want to tell you I'm happy here because all the machinations and all the nonsense that has gone on. Congrats. How do you feel, my brother?
Thanks again, Tibo, and thanks to the clubs that lended the support in this election. We had a good election and we have a solid team. So we're just looking forward to contributing again at a different level and just pushing more for clubs, our players, and for cricket as a whole. So it's a humbling experience for me thus far, but with the team that we have, we sure can do a lot more for the cricket. So we're looking forward to that.
What were the votes like? What your competitor got? How many votes you got, and how many your competitor
11
got?
and Mr. James got 7.
All the elections have sorted out. Everything is finished now?
Excuse me?
Before we go on, the meeting was supposed to have started at 5 o'clock. I understand there were a lot of machinations before the vote. Can you tell listeners briefly what were some of the problems?
Well, I think the person officiating over the election took their time to go through the constitution and make sure everything was done. And it was a long process, but at the end of the day, she erred on the side of caution, I guess, and then the will of the people was reflected in the vote. So it may have just been a little pensive moment for a lot of us, but I guess it was done in the best interest of cricket, I can hope. And at the end of the day, cricket remains the victor.
Can you tell the listeners what are the names of your full slate now? Let's go through it quickly.
We have Jamie John Baptist, who was uncontested as the first vice. We have Liam as the second vice, uncontested. Then we have Jesse Badwill as the treasurer. Dana Matthew as the secretary. Kimara Ito as the PRO. David Johnson as the assistant secretary treasurer. Then we have Anthony Scotland as a member. And Delvin Esprit as a member.
You mean Delvin Esprit won? Well, Clement, let me tell you up front. I've given you early notice. Next week, we want you and probably somebody else, one of the other members, in studio with us. Next week, we'll want to have your company so you could tell us your plans for the new season and whatever. So I'm giving you an early invitation for next week to spend at least half an hour with us, you and whoever else. Yeah. Any of your other people close by you, we can speak to them?
Excuse me?
Any of your other members who have one close by you? We can have a quick...
Everybody's in celebratory mode there.
Well, can I speak to Jamie? Can I speak to Jesse?
So let me see if I can get to Jesse for you.
Yeah, quickly. And Jamie as well. Jamie as well.
Anyway, Mr. Mas, let me congratulate you. That was a good enough victory, 11-7.
Yes, Homer. Jesse, is that you?
Yeah.
Okay, let me say congratulations on being elected treasurer. That means the people are placed faith in you because you were the treasurer last 2 years. How do you feel, my man?
Yeah, I feel very, very elated. I feel very elated.
Well, I'll tell you, your friend was messaging me all through. You know who was a bit nervous, was wondering what is happening to elections. All the way from Grenada. You know who I'm talking about.
No, come again.
Your friend, I was getting calls, text message on my phone from you know who in Grenada. I was wondering what's happening. You were a bit nervous for you.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes. Thanks a lot.
Well, you better call him as soon as you finish. You better call him as soon as you finish there, eh?
I'll do that.
Because he was a bit nervous, was wondering what is going on. You know who?
Yes.
Well,
it's confirmed.
Eh?
It's confirmed now. It's confirmed.
Well, you have your work cut out for you. So, as I say, you have a lot of work. The work is only now going to start. You've been elected, so it's only now going to start.
Oh yes. I'm ready for the run.
That's good. Is Jamie close to you?
Jamie speaking.
Jamie, that's you?
Yes, that's me.
Well, listen, Ronald Lander is here. I am happy, Jamie, to see you back in cricket. I mean, you played cricket. As you know, I managed you, I coached you, and happy that you can get back in cricket. Congratulations to you.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah. Ronald Lander is there with me as well. I don't know if you want to ask your question.
All I want to do is congratulate you all guys. We spoke to Mr. Marsler the last time, and because of my background training in economics, I believe in development planning. So that's one of the first things that you all have to do: develop a strategic development plan for cricket in Dominica.
Most definitely.
Well, so the election is over now. It's finished, right?
Yeah, it's over now.
Oh,
Yeah,
over.
it's over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well done. Is Clement back close to you?
Thanks a lot. Yes, he is.
Let me speak to you.
Hold on.
Oh, my Lord, disappeared.
Lobby? Miss Lobby. Yeah.
Hello.
Okay, Clement, well, I'll let you go. Go and enjoy yourself. I mean, you deserve to enjoy yourself. You're on your team. So we will have you in studio next week, you and whoever else, and to tell people about the plans for cricket. So let me say once again, congratulations to you, man.
All right, thanks much.
Yeah. Okay, take care.
Yeah, take care.
All right. Yeah, well, the meeting over, and man, I tell you, it's just something else that we have to go through all these things in Dominica, all these things that in a simple cricket association election. We have a caller.
Yes, good evening, Sports Rap, good evening, Sibo.
Yeah, good night.
Yes, and good evening, Ronald. Well, Sibo, I just want to take the opportunity to congratulate the team.
Well, by the way, were you at the meeting? You were there?
Well, I was supposed to be there to vote.
Well, that's why I know you were supposed to be there. You didn't go, right?
Yes, I couldn't make it. I was there in the last AG, but
Okay.
But I couldn't make it today.
Mm-hmm.
But congratulations, and you have guys like Scotty, you have guys like Delvin. So you have a wealth of, talented and experienced persons in various fields. So of course we're going to look forward to really boost cricket in this business, especially with that team, with a new president, Clement Marsler. So we're looking for big things in the cricket. We have Leon Sebastian, who is versed in cricket, and so I think we have a good executive at this point, and we're just looking for big things this season in cricket.
Yes.
And beyond. Congratulations to the team.
Yeah, man. Nice. Nice, yeah. Yeah, as you say, I mean, you shouldn't have this thing. What I'm saying, let the cricketers elect their people. We shouldn't have politicians getting involved and telling people, don't vote for Clemo because the other one is the best man and all sorts of nonsense like that. Let cricketers decide that. Shouldn't be people getting involved in all this nonsense, man. I that's why it's just unfortunate, eh?
Sibo, is Lobby still with us?
We seem to have lost Lobby. I don't know. The technician should be around there. Probably have to contact him because he should be on reverse. Lobby, we have lost you. Yeah, the technician, I suppose, will try and get back in touch with you in a while. Yeah, we're going to try to get in touch with Mr. Kernan now. Good night. Good evening.
Yes, sir, I can hear you, sir.
Okay, we have with us Sam, my co-host Ronald Lander is there. We have with us Mr. Sam Kernan, one of the coaches with the Cricket Academy in Portsmouth. Sam, the Barbados 18 is currently in Dominica, playing a series of matches against Dominica. The Dominica team has not been doing too well. Tell the listeners about the matches so far.
Right, basically we've had 4 games so far. We had a 3-day game where we were soundly beaten by the Bajans. We had a 50-over game yesterday. We made 200 and they made it for 5. And today we didn't really show up at the park. We made 122.
Go ahead. We lost you? Go ahead, Sam.
Yes, it's my observation on the whole series so far is our decision making, I find, is quite poor. I don't think the guys are thinking correctly under pressure. And one of the major things I think is the fitness levels of our cricketers. Our cricketers are not taking responsibility for their fitness. We did a yo-yo test before the series started, and most of these guys were running under 20.
So you mean most of them failed the test?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
I mean, the fitness is supposed to be down to the individual. You know that the series is coming up. You need to prepare yourself physically, because if you're not physically fit, you get mentally tired, and after you're tired, you succumb to whatever rigor there is in the sport. At the moment, I am not really the head coach per se. That was given to Mr. Phoenix Thomas.
You mean Phoenix is now the head coach of the academy, or does the team?
No.
Who's the head coach of the academy now?
I am the head coach of the academy.
Right.
But Phoenix Thomas was given the mandate to run the under 23, and Mr. Mervyn Thomas is going to be doing the under 19, where I will be working with the women.
No, what is it, the under 19 for Dominica? He's going to be coach of the Dominica under 19?
That's correct.
But let me ask you something. You just mentioned about the guys are not fit. Now, remember, you just said you are the coach of the academy. So shouldn't you now, as the coach, try to instill in these guys that they need to do more work? Because if you're the coach of the academy, a lot of them come from the academy, right?
Yes, and I, to be honest, I'm very disappointed, because the groundwork that we did, over the past 8 years, the guys should have taken that with them. If you remember, when the academy first started, we won the Premiership division.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the guys that we called back into the team. They've been playing league cricket, and we called these guys back into the team. And it doesn't look as if they've taken anything from the academy. It's really disappointing. Simple things like not walking in with the bowler and stuff like that. That is just ridiculous. And in any game or anything that you're doing, you need to plan. Preparation and planning prevents poor performance. I need to ask the question, what were the plans for each game? You need to plan each game that you're going to be playing. Look at the opposition, the strong bowlers, the weak bowlers, who you can go after, the batters, where they like to hit the balls, etc., etc., etc. But I'm not seeing that we're playing to a plan.
But Sam, what the Bajans are there? Have you been satisfied that the quality about the opposition, that the Bajan is good for our team, for guys they can learn from the Bajan team?
Well, that's the whole idea, I think, of that program, because the Barbados is considered the best playing nation in the Caribbean, and we need to test ourselves against the best to see where exactly our cricket is.
Mm-hmm.
And they came in 2019, and we had better performances in 2019. Mm-hmm. And now we're looking at 2023, where we should have been challenging the Bajans. We're not up to par. We're not up to scratch.
But let me ask you, when did you all know about the tournament? Do you think that you had sufficient time to prepare the team to have them ready for such a tournament?
Yes, I believe so. That started in November last year. It was on the plans from November last year. The word was out. We were just waiting for confirmation of when the Bajans could fly, because they were supposed to come just before the carnival. So we've had ample time. We had ample time to prepare the guys.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, well, not apparently, it was not done. It was not done. So I am very disappointed, because if you give people, what's the word I should use? If you give people a mandate to carry out a mandate, you have to be able to step up to the mandate. Up to date, I haven't seen a program. I haven't seen a schedule for that. And these are the questions that we really need to ask. We cannot just say that the Bajans are better players than us without looking at ourselves.
Yes.
Did we do what we needed to do in order to compete against the Barbados team?
Mm-hmm.
And in my estimation, we have not done that.
So let me ask you now, there are 2 more matches to go, Friday and Saturday, right? 2 T20s, right?
That's correct.
Now, when the Bajans will have gone, what are the plans now? Because all what you're just saying to us, that means a lot of work now has to start, right?
That's correct. That's correct. And I mean, sometimes when you give mandates to people who have not come up to that standard, sometimes you have to take the bull by your horn by yourself. Because I know these guys. I know them. We were a champion team in when the academy first started. We were a champion team, and it's still there within them. We need to sit down and start from scratch. The most important thing, I think, going forward, the fitness levels of all our players have to improve.
But you see, Sam, what should happen? You almost restrict on that. If you cannot pass the fitness, you shouldn't be selected. Full stop. That's how it should be. You cannot pass. Nobody that cannot pass should be selected. It's as simple as that.
If we're saying that, maybe 2 or 3 people would have been able to play.
Well, you don't play then. Then what I'm saying, you don't play because it cannot be. People shouldn't compromise in this sort of thing. Like when it comes to fitness, you just said if you're not fit, you're not going to be able to perform. If people cannot get up to speed with the fitness, don't play. That's what I'm saying. Until you get fit, you shouldn't play.
I take your point, and that's a valid point. But also, what I was saying to the fellas, when I go at the academy, I mean, these are grown men, and the place is very untidy. So what I said to them was, if we're all waiting for someone to pick that up and put it there, pick that up and put it there, with the same attitude we'll take onto the cricket field. We'll always leave something for someone else to do. We have to take ownership of our lives on and off the field, and discipline is key.
Yes, this is going to be a challenge for the newly elected Cricket Association, how they coordinate with you and the Cricket Academy. How did Gian Benjamin perform?
Well, Gian seems to be like the lone soldier within the camp, and we know Gian to be a good player. But I think one man cannot play the game. You need your teammates around you. You need support. You need to bat in partnerships. And I saw today he got frustrated because he was at one end trying to dig in, and at the other end he would keep losing wickets. So that is too much, I think, for one man, if you take my point.
Yes, that's very unfortunate. Is he also keeping?
Yes, that's his job. He's a wicketkeeper back.
Oh, yes. I think that's the way.
Well, Ronald, Gian is not part of the academy now, the new group, because he used to be before the A team selected, but he's not part of the academy now. The new people who have been for the next year, the group that started. When did they start, Sam? In September?
No, we started 2014. That's
No. I'm talking about the new batch of guys. Gian was in the batch long time. I'm talking about now, currently. He's not part of the new batch, right?
Okay, the new batch has not participated in the program because what we're trying to do was to incorporate the guys who were previously in the academy who perhaps cannot make the Dominica senior national team as yet, but it's still an academy program. And we really wanted to see, what the guys who passed through the academy, where the cricket is. So it obviously tells us fitness has to be key. And I don't know how I can get the message across to players that you need to be physically fit in order to execute your skills in cricket.
But there's an easy way to get the message to them. It's an easy way to get the message to them, Sam, there's an easy way. To me, there's not any kind of science in that. There's an easy way. I mean, you are not fit, you don't get selected. Full stop. That's all. That is all. Because I'm sure you know now, even for the franchise, the Winwardley was, if you cannot pass the test, you can't be selected. Are you aware of that?
Yes, I am aware of that.
Right. So this has to start here. The win was, if you're not fit, you don't pass the test, you can't be selected. Similarly, you must say to the young guys, if you cannot do the role, you're not prepared to do the work, you will not be part of the academy. It's a simple thing.
Yes, we know cricket is a team sport, but we need to get success stories. And Sam, I understand that you have been very, very contributive to the development of Alec Afanaz. I would like you to spend some time with Gian Benjamin because I see potential in Gian Benjamin. Unfortunately, he's not on the Windward Islands team. Also, he performed creditably in the trial matches. He scored a 50 and a century, but he didn't make. So this is somebody you can see that has potential, and I would like you to pay special attention to Gian Benjamin?
Yes, well, I would never turn a player away. But first and foremost, the player has to be able to commit to the task at hand. The player must be able to put his so-called life on the line if he wants something bad enough. I cannot want something for a player more than they want it for themselves, if that makes sense.
Yes, you're correct. You're correct.
Once the player is willing to put in the hard work, I'm always available. And I will never turn anyone away from cricket, because cricket has been my life. But players must take ownership for themselves and ownership for their game.
Yes. Well, I would totally agree, Sam. So there's one match tomorrow. What time cricket starts tomorrow? 1 o'clock? The T20?
No, 2 o'clock tomorrow. 2 o'clock tomorrow, the game is a T20. I'm hoping that we will do better in the T20s, because over the last 2 years, we've been playing T20 and T10 cricket. So I'm looking for a better performance. Well, what I will mention to the fellas tomorrow is to play without fear, because what I'm seeing is they're playing with fear, and fear of failure affects how you react to certain balls. So they just need to go tomorrow and play with a free mind
and enjoy themselves.
Exactly.
So there's one match tomorrow and one match on Saturday as well, right?
That's correct.
And the Belgians leave on Monday, right?
Yes.
Well, I was speaking to the physio, Kevin, who I know very well. He told me that they've been taken on out in a couple of times. They've enjoyed themselves, right?
Yes.
Well,
they're having a good time in Dominica. You know, as you know, in Dominica, we're good hosts.
Yeah.
And we always look after our guests.
Well, I hope when our team goes to Barbados, we will get the same sort of treatment.
Well, that is something that we have to expect, because, you know, if you come to my home and I treat you well, when I go to your home, I'm expecting the same kind of treatment.
Well, I am happy you say you are expecting.
That's correct.
I am happy you say you're expecting to have it. It doesn't mean every time you will get the same treatment. But you're right. You say you're expecting the treatment to be the same. So, okay, Sam. So we'll talk to you again. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you again.
Okay, then. Thank you very much for having me. Good night to all and new listeners. Good night.
Well, we'll take another break now, another ad break now.
A delightful promise is being kept, and now everybody is drinking Promise.
I wake up in the morning.
From the Milky Way, a timeless treasure has found its way on every breakfast staple in Dominica. A delightful promise is being kept, and now everybody is drinking Promex. Promex full cream instant milk. Morning by morning, give your family a refreshing start to a productive day. Promex milk. It's pleasingly, teasingly, surprisingly delicious. Blends well with your choice teas, cereals, coffee, or all your family-friendly recipes. Promex. Good nutrition all day long. Promex milk. Every mother's favorite milk. Taste the moments that take your breath away. Promex. Available from AC Shillingford and retailers island-wide. AC Shillingford, where you spend less and get more.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe. And Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins, and bidets. PVC piping, fittings, and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
I wake up in the morning.
From the Milky Way, a timeless treasure has found its way on every breakfast staple in Dominica. A delightful promise is being kept, and now everybody is drinking Promex. Promex full cream instant milk. Morning by morning, give your family a refreshing start to a productive day. Promex milk. It's pleasingly, teasingly, surprisingly delicious. Blends well with your choice teas, cereals, coffee, or all your family-friendly recipes. Promex. Good nutrition all day long. Promex milk. Every mother's favorite milk. Taste the moments that take your breath away. Promix, available from AC Shillingford and retailers island-wide. AC Shillingford, where you spend less and get more.
Yeah, we're back. Ronald, we have the free test matches going on around for people who like to watch cricket. Obviously, you're losing sleep. There's one that's at what's going on right now, 6 o'clock, New Zealand, Sri Lanka, 12 o'clock, Australia, India, West Indies, 4 a.m. So you could be watching cricket from 6 in the night to midday next day, non-stop. But we start with the West Indies. I mean, Ronald, again, West Indies. West Indies allowed on the first day. Before lunch, South Africa scored at more than a run a minute. They had scored 130 runs in the pre, and that's the same thing happened in the first test. When you allow a team to get away so quickly on the first day, it's like if you bat in first in a test match and you get bowled for 100, it's almost impossible for you to come back. You let the guys get away, although they came back well, but we know the West Indies batting is brittle. 300 runs is plenty runs for the West Indies. We allowed South Africa to go. They were going like a train.
Yes.
And then when we can't score the runs.
Makram, Dizozi, 85, Makram, 96, Elgar, 42.
But you know, I like this. I like the Dizozi.
You like Dizozi,
I
the
like
Rastaman.
this look of that guy. The Rastaman from South Africa. His technique is good. The way he drives, I just like the look of him.
You see, this is a very important thing where you see other international teams are introducing young players, are involving young players, are looking for variation, are looking to develop other players. And this is a weakness that we have in West Indies team.
But you know, as you say that, South Africa won the match and made 4 changes. Although I find that strange that you win a match and make 4 changes. West Indies lost and made 1 change. One change they made. They brought in Moti, that's all. 1 change, but South Africa made 4. Again, I guess because they structured the quota for blacks and so on. So maybe they have to do what they have to do. But West Indies went to Australia, got bowled out for 73. They picked the same team to Zimbabwe. They're not scoring runs in Zimbabwe. They come to South Africa, the same team playing. The same team.
Yeah, we reached a stage where West Indies was 116 for 6.
Yes.
And all the top line batsmen are filling again. Brathwaite 17, Shandapal 1, Riffer 15, Blackwood 6, Chase 28, Myers 29. Fellas are filling again.
We have a caller, I guess. Good night.
Hey, how you guys doing?
All right, okay. Hello? Caller? Hello? Caller's
Okay,
gone.
let's go. Let's go. So you see the 116 for 6, and we had a last wicket partnership of 58 runs. So it shows that if you apply yourself, you can get runs.
But I don't know how they view things. I was just like, I've seen Moti bat many times. I don't understand why Alzari and Rocha batting before Moti. Moti had made 100, for Guyana. I've seen him make 100. Whatever select, I've seen him make runs.
And he took 3 wickets, very effective.
Yeah, but when you look at his technique, I find it strange that he's batting after Alzari and Rocha. I'm telling you honestly. I think he had good technique. He should be batting at number 9. He's made runs at first class level, 100. He's made 100 for Guyana. And he has good technique. Plus, a few have centuries. So I do not understand why he's batting number 11, honestly. I don't understand.
But when you see that and the fellas are failing over and over again, the batsmen, Riffer, Blackwood, Chase, Myers, regional commentators like Fazia Mohammed said that Afana should replace either Chase or Myers.
But I don't know why
your captain, number 3. Your captain, a day before, he called his team.
Well, you know what I find strange, right? When I was a selector, what I know, at every match, a selector had to be there. The selector had the final say. I know that. I was selector. The selector had the final say on the 11. But I cannot understand why the captain of the team, the day before a match, is saying, I'm making any changes. To me, that to me is bizarre. It's very strange, honestly. We have another caller. Let's take the caller. Good night.
Night, sir. How are
Hey.
you all doing?
Oh, we all right. We okay. What about you?
I'm good. I'm always impressed with your program, man.
Thank you.
West Indies. I can tell you, my brother, I have come to the conclusion that West Indies have a mental problem when it comes to batting, and they cannot bat against good bowling because they are not moving their feet at all. They would just come forward, stay there, just hang the bat. They cannot last long. West Indies have a real problem. Number 2 problem that they have, the captain is too defensive. I mean, I saw where they just took a wicket. And you know what happened? The new batsman came in. And what happened? The Bradford sent the man, Ferdman, right down on the cover boundary. I mean, come on.
No, Caller, Ronald, the Caller is making a very valid contribution. Caller, you know you're right. Craig Bradford is a very defensive captain. You're right. Sometimes, in fact, at one time yesterday, what it was at T20, they were playing men all on the boundary. You are very right. Go on, anyhow. Go on.
How can you win matches like this? You can't win matches, so you just take, I mean, the new ball is due. You have Alzarri Josie bowling, and you are coming to the end of the new ball. You bring in him at least 10 overs if you the new ball, and then when the new ball comes, you remove him, or you not taking the new ball, and you just...
Your strike bowler. Your strike bowler.
I mean, come on, man. I mean, West Indies have a big problem. And the same problem we have in Dominica is the same problem we have in the West Indies. And the same problem we have all about.
So what's your opinion of the exclusion of Afanaz?
Right, they should include Afanaz. I don't see why they have that Rifa batting. Rifa is
Even Blackwood just off and on, he's getting runs and he fails most of the time. Chase, Mayers,
right,
you know?
all of them. They don't know when to hit. They don't know when to play forward. They don't know when to hit the ball. The only ball they will hit good if you bring the ball up under their eyes, they will hit it. Otherwise, they cannot manufacture a shot. They cannot create a shot. They do not have the patience. They do not know how to build an innings. I mean, it's just so heartbreaking to see the level West Indies has come to, and people still talking about West. Anyway, good night, my brothers. Good program.
Thank you very much.
Very good contribution from the caller. You say he made the point about the batting. What I found out in terms of technique. Runner, in fact, if you look at Blackwood got out today, just look at Blackwood. Blackwood right foot outside the leg stump. He got out caught behind. So guys not getting behind the ball. Even Craig himself. You look at how they're getting out, and so you wonder. I mean, to be fair, Chef was unfortunate.
Who's the batting coach now?
Well, I think they said Jimmy Adams would be there in that capacity. If you look at, you see him. So and in Brian, Brian is there. So you don't know who in what capacity out there. Because we have a caller. Let's take the caller. Good night.
Hey, good evening, man.
Hey, good evening. Good evening. All right.
Yeah, you shouldn't be giving the batsman too much pressure, because if the bowlers is bowling a set of 4th stamp and 5th stamp and 6th stamp constantly.
Right.
And the South Africans, they attacking the stamp all the time. So when you allow South Africans to score so much runs, and then you want to blame the batsman.
We're not blaming we're not really blaming the batsman, We're not blaming. We're not talking about the batting. Anyway, go on.
Yes, one example, Roach should be the most experienced man there. And it's every now and then you see Roach bowling to get a leg before wicket. All the time is wide, is bumper, all that nonsense. Alzarri is the most consistent bowler.
Yeah, you're correct.
So I'm telling you, so West Indies have to look at their bowling attack. Look how the South Africans bowling. Look how the Australian bowl to them. But they're all over the place. They bowl in the air, they bowl 5th stamp, 6th stamp, all over the place they bowl it.
But caller,
thank you, caller. Right,
very good. Just make a point here. South Africa made 320, and we end up making 251 after being 116 for 6.
Thanks to Jason Holder.
116 for 6. Your batsmen, the technique is flawed, and consequently, they are not getting runs consistently.
We have another caller. Good night.
Hello.
Hello. Good night.
Yeah, good night.
How you doing? How you doing, sir? I guess you watched only West Indies last night, Mr. Minard.
Beg pardon?
You watched the West Indies this morning?
Yes. I have been watching cricket since 6 p.m. yesterday evening, and I am currently watching, New Zealand and Sri Lanka,
When they just got out, Sri Lanka 355 just got out.
Yeah. So I will watch up until Australia, which is my team. I know India is your team.
No, my team is West Indies. India is my second team. My team is West Indies.
My West Indies is number one. That goes without saying. I'm speaking in terms of outside of the West Indies because I think I would have made it abundantly clear that West Indies is my team. Not supporting the foolishness and the nonsense that transpired over the years and even up to now, because there's still another insularity in terms of the chairman of selectors and the present captain. There's insularity, I can tell you, right?
When let's stick up in. You have to blame the president from your country. West Indies, 3 of the selectors are from Barbados. Desmond Haynes is the chairman from Barbados. They have selected another selector, Roland Butcher is from Barbados, and the captain is from Barbados. So you have 3 Bajans, which doesn't make sense.
But Sebastian, when it comes to it's just like having a judge. I expect a judge to be a professional. I expect a judge to take the law seriously. And I expect a judge to use the law to guide his or her judgment. So, it doesn't matter whoever, whatever, wherever, I expect you to do a professional job. Just like if you're being a governor general, you're being a speaker of a house, you're being a commissioner of police or whatever, I expect you to be professional and impartial. I don't expect selectors because they're from a particular country to pick a team based on sentiment, territory, or insularity. I do not expect that. So the reality is that I really need Desmond Haynes to have a serious look at himself. He has really come up short, to be honest, in terms of the job.
Well, I'm not sure if he's up there because I haven't seen him. Have you seen him in thing? Normally a selector is there, but I know the board is not in good financial standing now. So I don't know if he hasn't been there or if they consult him in Barbados. But normally a selector has to be on tour. But I haven't seen him during the 2 matches at all. I haven't seen him.
Yeah. I know what you mean, because the chairman of selectors normally, would play a more significant and important role.
No. When I was a selector, it doesn't have to be chairman, had to be at a match. I was at during the England series. I was at a couple of tests. One selector had to be there and had the final say in selection. But now, as I say, you hear the captain the day before a match virtually saying that is his team. And I find that very, very strange, honestly.
Well, let me say this: that there are many players in this present West Indies tour who I believe are on the last tour, and we have to move on. We have to move forward, and this is exactly what I have been saying, and I've said last week that I really expect Darren Bravo, Hope and Athenes to be in the next West Indies 11. That would be a far much better in terms of asset, in terms of ability, quality, and future. I am telling you, right? So I am expect the young, around 24, Dominican who has shown tremendous promise. And as I said last week, I am very happy that the last program before I was on, ending the show when I said that I expect Athenes to be given his opportunity. I expect the selectors to call it right. And this is one of the commendation that I have to give the selectors and the chairman of selectors for calling it right. So I have to commend them for looking at the cricket and selecting people who deserved the opportunity. So, but in terms of you are there, because you have to be in the, as they said, in the kitchen to feel the heat. And if you're not in the wicket, you can't make runs, right? But sometimes people are delayed in terms of their selection. Because I remember many years ago, Jimmy Adams sat on the bench with a West Indies President 11 match against Australia. And people like Danley Joseph, the guy from Danny Ram from Guyana, Delroy Morgan from Jamaica, and others were in the team ahead of Jimmy Adams. He was 12th man, right? And he sat there on the bench, did not play, but Jimmy Adams not only ended up playing for the West Indies team, but ended up captaining the West Indies team. And many of the guys who were in that 11 never made the West Indies team. So sometimes people get the opportunity and don't fulfill the opportunity.
Okay, Mr. Mena, let's get back to West Indies. Hold on a while. Ronald, what are your expectations for tomorrow? Wow, how you see it going, the West Indies?
I think West Indies is going to lose. West Indies is going to lose. Australia is going to score. South Africa is going to score some runs. Anytime they give West Indies over 250, West Indies is going to lose. Because the batsmen, you see, lack of technique and consistently, they've been failing. They went Australia, they scored 71 runs. They came to Zimbabwe and they did not dominate Zimbabwe. They came to South Africa and they're failing again. And the West Indies team is maintaining a failing unit. Where you see other successful teams like Australia, India, South Africa are exploring new combinations, bringing in new players in order to improve on the quality of cricket. But West Indies is maintaining their stock in a losing combination. So I think they're going to lose miserably.
Mr. Mena, what are your expectations going forward for West Indies?
Okay, very important, very, very important question in terms of the projection, in terms of what I expect to take place in this particular test match. And I can say right now that South Africa is in the driving seat. They are large and in charge so far in this particular match. The West Indies definitely, seriously, unfortunately, have a lot of work to do. But it is not impossible, right? We have seen the West Indies, which we know.
What is possible, Mr. Maynard? What is possible? West Indies winning that test match? Is it possible with the quality of batting that we have?
It's definitely possible.
It's possible.
I will not rule an inconsistent West Indies team out. And when there are many times when you don't expect West Indies to show up, they have shown up in the past.
When recently?
It happened. It happened. West Indies. It has happened even of late. West Indies team over the years, when we don't expect West Indies team to show up, they show up. They can have a good match. It is not. Remember, South Africa do not have the full strength attack.
But they don't need a full strength attack, Mr. They don't really.
116 for 6. Luckily, we had fellas in the lower order, and your last wicket partnership was 58 runs. Seaboy is speaking highly of Moti. Moti can do some magic.
Honestly.
Let me say, in terms of Moti, with Sebastian made a very important observation, because Moti is a lower order batsman who can contribute and who has demonstrated and who has contributed in terms of even scoring a century at the first class level, right? You haven't got that from Roach nor Joseph, right? So Moti, in terms of being more ability to make runs and has delivered.
In fact, Moti might even be averaging over 20 runs in first class cricket. He might even be averaging that, Moti. 20, more than 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in terms of the West Indies team now, right? The openers who definitely are the strength in terms of the West Indies team and batting order. The opening pair. So you would have realized when the opening pair do well, you realize that the team have achieved far more success.
Well, yeah, you need a good base. You need a good base, so the openers need to give a start. They haven't done that since they got to South Africa. They haven't done that.
Right. Because they're not going to do it all the time. There is no great player who would make runs all of the time. There is no batting lineup that will perform all of the time.
But you need consistency, right? Mr. Maynard. You need not all the time, but you need consistency. And we're lacking. You need consistency. You can do it all the time, but on average, you need to be scoring runs.
Yes. That is a fact. That is a fact that you are picked to make runs, and we have batsmen not only in this present West Indies team, but over the years. And since we have lost the game in Jamaica against Australia in 1995, it has been downhill. Sometimes winning a series, winning a few test matches, but just gone to be inconsistent. And that is just the West Indies reality, right? So,
well, Mr. Man, I honestly believe South Africa gets a good start because the thing is that they already have a lead of 69. So all they need is 200 and something runs, 300 runs, going to be almost impossible for West Indies to score batting last. I cannot see them scoring 300 and plus batting last. For them to win, they would have to bowl out in the first hour tomorrow. For them to win, they'll have to bowl out. But we have to move on. We have 2 other test matches. And what people don't understand, Mr. Maynard, Ronald, the Sri Lanka test matches are important. Because if Sri Lanka were to win those test matches, they can qualify for the test championship in June against Australia at the Oval. Australia have already qualified for the final. So if Sri Lanka were to beat New Zealand, they would leapfrog India and qualify for the final in May at the Oval in June. Yeah. So these 2 matches, test matches, Sri Lanka, New Zealand, are very important. Very, very important. Well, we see India now. This pitch looks to be a much better surface.
Yes.
Because you saw batting now. So that could be a high-scoring match. It could be a high-scoring match because it's a much better surface.
Because, Sibo, as you said, that there was 57 overs of unpenetrative spin before the spin just used to run through the batting. And now you have 57 overs between your spinners, your free spinners, and they haven't taken 1 wicket. Mohamed Shami is the fellow who's taken 2 wickets. And let's see. Sibo, you made the point about the World Cup. What I've seen there is like that Australian India.
Yeah, the World Cup, it looked like that, unless Sri Lanka, if Sri Lanka beats New Zealand, they will go probably India. They will be in the final. By the way, I was right. Look, somebody's sending me Moti's first class average is 22.73. A number 11 batsman. Some batsmen don't have average like that, He has a first class average of 22.73. I've seen the guy bat, as I say. I'll be surprised if have somebody saying to me 22.73. So look at the averages of a lot of the batsmen, and you will see. Some of the batsmen, they're averaging 20s. So you have Moti, and Moti shouldn't be batting at number 11. I'll say that. He doesn't look like a number 11.
Yes, yeah.
But I support Sri Lanka in the international cricket, and I'll be very happy if they could make it to the finals of the World Cup. Again, Sri Lanka has been experimenting with a lot of players. I saw Mendes coming in there.
That guy looked good last night.
Chandimal, coming in there, Karanate, those players, they really apply themselves.
I'm not sure I don't think Sri Lanka can really beat New Zealand, but you just never know. I don't think they can.
But they're competitive.
They are competitive. 355 runs is a good score. But if they were to beat New Zealand, they would qualify for the final.
Because my team, when I used to support Sri Lanka full-heartedly, was Delshan, Jawadin, Sangakkara,
but they have produced
Muri,
some of the outstanding batsmen.
Malinga.
Sangakkara. You look at Sangakkara's average on 58, His test match average when he retired, we had about 7 or 8 double centuries, Kumar Sangakkara, outstanding. Jayawadina, Marvinata Patu, Aravinda De Silva, a lot of outstanding batsmen came from Sri Lanka.
And there's a small island. Sri Lanka is a very small island.
Sri Lanka is a lovely place, I tell you, Sri Lanka is a lovely place. Nice, really, really nice. So,
Sebastian, I need to make a point which is very, very important in reference to Sangakkara. Sangakkara is a wicket-keeper batsman. We have not seen any wicket-keeper batsman in any other test team in the world who bat at number 3. That normally do not happen. And he batted at number 3 as a wicket-keeper for his career. And look at his track record.
Well, he stopped keeping after a while, but as you rightly said, while he played as a keeper, he batted number 3. You're very right.
What about this Australian fella? There was an Australian batsman.
You mean Adam Gilchrist?
Gilchrist.
No, but in Test cricket, he batted at number 7.
Okay.
In ODI, he batted at top of the order. Test cricket, Gilchrist batted at 7. Mr. Maynard, we have to take a break now. We'll come back just now. We have to take an ad break now.
Okay.
From the Milky Way, a timeless treasure has found its way on every breakfast staple in Dominica. A delightful promise is being kept. And now everybody is drinking Promex. Promex full cream instant milk. Morning by morning, give your family a refreshing start to a productive day. Promex milk. It's pleasingly, teasingly, surprisingly delicious. Blends well with your choice teas, cereals, coffee, or all your family-friendly recipes. Promex. Good nutrition all day long. Promex milk. Every mother's favorite milk. Taste the moments that take your breath away. Promex. Available from AC Shillingford and retailers island-wide. AC Shillingford, where you spend less and get more.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe, and Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins, and bidets. PVC piping, fittings, and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
I wake up in the morning.
From the Milky Way, a timeless treasure has found its way on every breakfast staple in Dominica. A delightful promise is being kept. And now everybody is drinking Promex. Promex full cream instant milk. Morning by morning, give your family a refreshing start to a productive day. Promex milk. It's pleasingly, teasingly, surprisingly delicious. Blends well with your choice teas, cereals, coffee, or all your family-friendly recipes. Promex. Good nutrition all day long. Promex milk. Every mother's favorite milk. Taste the moments that take your breath away. Promex. Available from AC Shillingford and retailers island-wide. AC Shillingford, where you spend less and get more.
Yeah, let's do that for next week. Because we time almost up already. Yes, we're back on. Mr. Maynard, Ronald, we on the home stretch, we're almost ready to go. So quickly, we have, well, Australia is an important thing. If India needs to not lose the game so they can play the final. And I would like to see India-Australia final at the Oval in June. I'd like to see that. You would like to see that. But they prepared a better pitch, I guess. They learned because they got, well, they say in local language, they get bossed last test match when Australia, on their own home pitch, with what's the name? Nathan Lyon taking 8 wickets. So I expect India to bat well when they get a chance to bat. And let's hope it could be a big score because Australia, 255 for 4. 255 for 4. They could score. They could get to 400, eh?
Yeah, Kawaja
is still there.
Green is 49 not.
Yeah.
Alex Carey can bat. He can bat. Mr. Maynard.
Yeah, pardon?
Yes, I say your team Australia. You say you're going to be watching them.
Yeah, definitely. At midnight, I will be there, bang on target to see ball number 1 this evening. So I'll be there ready. And in terms of the Sri Lanka team, they would have had a good run of late, but that would be very, very easy picking in reference to that particular test match in England, if Sri Lanka get qualified, it will be easy picking for sure for Australia. And I want to say that it is not going to be the same India performance in terms of the spinning thing, because no way you're supposed to have any test match where spin bowler, almost you could say opening the bowling. They just give a pace bowler over or two, and the spin bowlers like bowl almost for the rest of the day.
But Mr. Maynard, stick a pin. In the 70s, when India had four of the greatest spinners of all time in Bedi, Venkat, Prasanna, Chandrasekhar, they did the same thing. You had Abid Ali and you remember Eknath Solkar, Ronald? They would bowl 2 overs each and then spin took over. I mean, so there's a tradition with India that they have done that over the years, because lately they have discovered some outstanding fast bowlers. I think Mohammad Shami is an outstanding bowler. When Kapil Dev came on the scene, great swing bowler. So of late, but in the 70s, that's what they did with Abid Ali, Eknath Solkar, 1 over each, and then you have Bedi and Venkat and Chandrasekhar, all of them at you, non-stop.
But let me ask you, what are your impression and views in reference to the quality of pitches at that time versus the pitches now?
Well, in the days in the 70s, I mean, like I said, they had all these outstanding bowlers. You had better pitches, but it was the same thing. Eknath Solkar was opening batsman at the time. He bowling left arm with base. Soul rest in peace, he's dead now. Bowl 1 over, 2 overs. Abid Ali, you remember that guy in 71 in the West Indies when Gavaskar was plundering our bowling? So they have done that. But I am not in favor of this doctoring of pitches anywhere. Let's have good surfaces. It cannot be matches ending up in 2 days. 2 days is not good for the sport. It's not good for the spectators either. A test match ends in 2 days. No.
Where you have the best test team, 2 of the best teams in the world ending in 2 and 3 days.
If not only that, batsmen are confused. You watch guys mentally. Like I said, I remember when I played in the 70s, when you went to Trinidad, in the day before the match, when you saw the pitch, it looked like a pitch they had played cricket on it for a whole year, and you just come in to play a match. And then you have to play against Imtiaz Ali and Inshan Ali and Jumadin. And you, at night, mentally, that took a toll on you. And it's simply happening now that you go to India and the ball is spinning from ball over 1, keeping low, lifting. It's not good, man. You need proper services to play cricket, honestly.
Yes. And that is one of the advantage where we are going to feel much better to see that it will be a better, by far, surface in England, better condition, and it is also going to be also suited for fast bowling. And I give Australia the edge in terms of the fast bowling attack. If everybody and both teams are available, I will give the Australia in terms of experience, in terms of ability and quality and record. So we are looking forward for the 2 teams in this particular test match in England, where the condition would be more, I believe, balanced, but maybe in terms of the fast bowling, and we're going to see who will execute and perform in this particular test match.
Okay, well, Mr. Mayor, with that note, we'll take you out here. Good night. We'll talk to you next week, right? Because we're going to wind up now. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, all the best, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. So, yeah, Ronald, we have, as we close up, we have cricket tonight. West Indies tomorrow morning. Well, cricket is going on now. In fact, the latest column check, New Zealand and Sri Lanka. But New Zealand are 11 without loss. So we expect that one to be a good one. Australia, India, and West Indies. I mean, I wish I could get that pastor was preaching today in the funeral to pray for West Indies. Yeah, the pastor to pray for West Indies, because West Indies need prayers, man. I mean, you can't be just losing like that. I mean, and I always wonder, I mean, when you play sports, it can't be right that you just suffer defeats like that. How the psyche of the team.
With the same team. You not experiment, not bringing other players in. Another player that we have on the verge. You do the same thing with him in Bangladesh, Kavim Hodge. You remember Bangladesh? You didn't play him. Yes, you won in Bangladesh. That was the difference. But you're losing, and you have Afanas, and you're not playing him. So I'm not sure what's happening with the management of West Indies cricket.
By the way, when he was playing next week in Guyana against Jamaica, he probably will get to Guyana a couple hours before the game. Well, speaking to Lee, I'm the manager, he wants to play. He wants to play in the match. But now what he has to do, there are 3 more matches. They're playing against Jamaica and Guyana, and then they have to play the Leewards and Barbados in Trinidad. What it is, because the next time West Indies play Test cricket after this will be in July, August against India in the Caribbean. All he has to do, make 1 or 2 more hundreds. So when you do that, you register. Your name is registered somewhere. So they can't forget that. So you have what, 6 innings to bat, let's say 5 in case of rain or something. Those go and make runs.
Yes, Sibo. I'm in touch with him on WhatsApp, and I've been giving some good vibes, encouraging him. Tell him, don't be discouraged. Stay focused. Continue developing your cricket. And when you come back to the Caribbean, score runs. And he's giving me some positive responses. The other player I would want to score runs again in the Caribbean is Kavim Hodge.
Well, he needs to score right now because Ronald, you know, age goes through cricket. Kavim is 30 now, Just got to 30, so he has to watch it now. He has to make runs because time is not on his side. Although now West Indies doesn't matter because West Indies have age is a number for West Indies cricket now. No matter what, because guys are scoring runs, so it doesn't really matter. As long as you keep making runs, the selectors must.
Yeah. See, what is another very good program?
Yes.
Pity we could not reach out to our fans.
Well, we'll do that next week.
I would say
Let's promise them next week.
Good night to Roma Landa, my mother. I hope you have a peaceful night rest.
Yes. So, on behalf of Ronald, we had Lambi, we had the Netball Association president, the Cricket Association new president. We'll have him here next week, and we had a good show. So, let's say next week. I want to say good night. We will be back with you next week, Thursday night. So, everybody have a good night, and there's cricket all night. You have cricket now going on, 12 o'clock, Australia against India, West Indies at 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. So, good night to everybody.